Okay, this is Jedius, Sport Talks. I decided to continue the last one after I wanted to bring this back a bit more, and it did pretty well as well, to be fair. There's a few things to talk about. A few of them are a bit late, like for example, AFL news, I guess. Adelaide Crows breached the coronavirus, COVID-19. I guess the standards we've set for the clubs to have a certain amount of players only training. It does change slightly state to state, but the clubs know exactly what the rules are. And they trained, I think their rules were 2 people at a time, like 2 players with each other only, that's it, no more than that. And during an isolation, because they had travelled somewhere, they actually breached that. And they are now getting, the decision was made on what their punishment should be for breaching the regulations that have been put into place. Okay, so basically what happened, the AFL, the investigation came out as they decided that it was not an intentional breach to try and get an advantage on the other teams. It was more of a, I guess they sort of put it as they weren't really thinking. They had been compliant for the majority of the training session prior, doing, I'll read word for word here. The investigation found the players had been compliant with the protocols for the majority of a 2-hour training session where they had worked in pairs before separating into 2 larger groups of 8. One group, doesn't matter what they're doing, kicking drill, the other one doing a running drills in pairs, which is, I guess, why they bother with a group of 8 thing when it's in pairs in the end anyway. But, yeah, so they didn't do that much, and as a punishment-wise, I don't really know what happened. So the sanctions that have been imposed by the AFL, the 16 players have been received. Oh, so this is their punishment now. So the 16 players have received a suspended 1-match sanction. The suspended sentence will remain in place for the remainder of the 2020 AFL Premiership season. There's another dot point here. Assistant coach Ben Hart has been stood down from coaching duties for 6 weeks from today's date. So that was, I don't know when this was actually made, this article. I'll see if I can figure it out in a second for you. He will not be able to access the club facilities or have contact with players until 22nd of June. So you can do the math for whenever, if you give a shit when it actually happened. You can do the math 6 weeks back from the 22nd of June. So that was their punishment for breaking. I'm going to move on to the next story now. This one, this isn't actually a story. Have you guys, I don't know if you guys give a shit. I saw this thing I was interested in, so I saved it with all the other, because what I did is during form today at school, I saved all my, I looked at, just looking for stories to do for this video whilst I was doing class called form, which is sort of like it's pretty much a useless class where it's 20 minutes, just do there, sit down, do nothing. So yeah, I saved these saved these tabs, and then brought them back to do this video. I also saved this one because I thought it was interesting. Some guy has been stalking Billie Eilish and just put a restraining order on him. Anyway, that's irrelevant to what we're talking about. Apparently here, rival clubs report, this is basically the same thing actually, about the Adelaide Crows, sorry. Rival clubs reportedly disgusted at AFL over lenient sanctions handed down to the Adelaide Crows. So apparently, I'm assuming that is referring to Adelaide. It has a picture of Adelaide, but like all these tabs that I'm talking about, the URLs will be in the description if you want to go check them out afterwards to see or to read the whole thing and make your own opinion on it if you want. So I'm going to move on to the next story. If you want to read that, as I said, it will be in the description below. Okay, this is soccer based now in England. Obviously there's been a few talks on my channel about what's going to happen. Will Liverpool win the Premier League? Will it even restart at all? Will it just be null and void? It seems like, well, here the title of this article is No Elite Sport in England until at least June 1st. June 1st is a month away. Oh, no, less than a month away now. That's what the government is saying, so no one has really much of a choice if the government says nothing until at least June 1st. I would say probably more like July would be the earliest something would actually happen. I'm going to move on to the next story because there's not much to talk about. If you want to read into that, it's a fairly it's a sort of longish. That's a short. It's a short article. There's not much really talk that it says. I haven't read the full thing. I can't bother. It'll be in the URL in the description. Sorry. Okay, this is I've never talked about boxing on this channel, but I'm going to here because it's about Mike Tyson possibly returning. Apparently, there's been video of him training, and on his Instagram on Monday there was a story, I believe, that ended in the message, "I'm back." So it seems like he's been training and getting ready to return. And I think I talked about it on this channel. I'm not sure if it was on the channel or it was just to my mates and stuff, my parents, about one thing where he was talking. It was a podcast or something, and he was talking about he feels empty, he feels lost since he retired from boxing. It's all he had or something. I think if it is on this channel, I won't. You can go try and find it. It probably was in the title. I don't really remember, and I'm not going to put the link in because I don't even know what video it would be. So you can go back and look for that if you want. Obviously, this will be in the URL. I keep saying URL in the description. Sorry. There's not really much to talk about in it. It's another shortish article. It just basically says there was a video of him training, and then another thing saying he's back. I'm going to move on to the last thing, which is about tennis. So there's talk of merging the ATP, which is the Men's Tennis Association thing, and the WTA. And something, another curious thing on this channel, Canadian player, what's his name? Basic Pospisil. Basically, curiosity doesn't want it to happen, and this guy went nuts at him. That's what I'm going to talk about for today. It's been JDS. Thanks, bye. See you next time. See ya.